Welcome to the Friends of Zane Adams, aka FOZA Podcast, bringing awareness of postpartum depression, suicides, and the children who are left behind. We'll be spotlighting positive outcomes from mothers as well as healthcare experts and counselors. Would you know the signs of PPD? Would you know how to help a loved one? Stay tuned. As a community, we can do more to support maternal mental wellness.
Welcome, FOZA family, friends, and supporters. I'm Paulette Smith, and this is episode 56 of the FOZA Podcast for maternal mental wellness. Here we shine a light on awareness to stop the stigma, the silence, the suicides, and the suffering that can accompany postpartum depression, and we strive to support the education of the children who are left behind. Thank you for joining us and for celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month. As always, we want to remind ourselves and our listeners that this is a safe place. However, discussions may touch on targets that can be triggering. If you're in crisis or need immediate support, please leave the podcast and call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. If you're not having an emergency situation, but you still need help, please speak with your doctor or a trusted professional. Whatever you do, don't give up. If you're still struggling to find support in your local area, visit us at FOZAinc.org. That's FOZAinc.org. We have FOZA Finder services waiting for you, and we'll support you in finding resources in your zip code. You're never required to share sensitive or personal information with us. May is recognized as Mental Health Awareness Month, a time set aside to bring awareness to the emotional experiences of everyone affected, including mothers and the postpartum period. Today's conversation, the space between who she was and who she's becoming, reflects some of those experiences in a very real way. Not simply about postpartum itself, but about the emotional transition that often comes with it. We all expect much attention to be placed on caring for a new baby, but we must be aware of the moments when the emotional well-being of the mother quietly shifts into the background. Sometimes the hardest part isn't knowing exactly what's wrong, it's realizing that internally something feels different. That's what the mother feels. Something feels different. So let's talk about the space between identities. Becoming emotionally adjusted to change often takes longer than people around us expect it to take. Some have their expectations, and that's okay. But as a mom, you should not depend on other people's expectations. But during the postpartum period, that adjustment is not only emotional, it can be physical, hormonal, mental, relational, and even spiritual. So now you know how individual it is and that you should not depend on others' expectations. Each one of those aspects can be different, coming from a different person. The physical, the hormonal, the mental, the relational, and the spiritual all can be different than what you as an individual are expecting. From the outside, people may see a healthy baby, a smiling photo, or a mother handling things well. She's handling this so well. How many times have you heard that? But internally, there may be enormous change taking place, and she may not understand her feelings. Her body is still healing. Her sleep patterns may be completely disrupted. The hormonal shift can affect her mood, her energy, her focus, and the emotional regulation in ways that they're just difficult to predict. Taking a look at things from her perspective, you can see how intricate and complicated this could be. At the same time, her mind may be trying to process an entirely new reality. So picture this. A woman who once moved through life with confidence, with a routine, with everything organized and together, might suddenly feel uncertain about very basic things like, how am I doing emotionally? Am I bonding correctly with my baby? Why do I feel so overwhelmed? Or why don't I quite feel like myself? What's wrong? Because so much attention is placed on the baby, and the baby is definitely a place we want to pay attention, the mother may feel pressure to appear grateful, capable, emotional before she's fully adjusted internally. So let's say that again. She hasn't fully adjusted internally, but those around her are wondering why she's not more grateful, capable, and emotionally stable. That's why support matters so much during this period. And support doesn't always mean solving problems. So what does support look like? Just a few things. We've gone over them before, and we will go over them again. But support often looks like noticing changes without criticism, creating space for honest conversation, helping reduce daily pressure where it's possible. We know everyone's busy, everyone has their own life, but helping the mom create reduction in daily pressures wherever it's possible. Gently encouraging her to rest without guilt, getting her to feel like resting is for her best interest and for her child and for her family. Or simply checking in consistently instead of assuming everything is fine. You know, that's very important because it's a delicate balance to create. Checking in on her without making her feel like you're checking in on her, but you don't want to assume that everything is fine. And in fact, she's there suffering. That's a delicate balance to make. So what does it mean when we say keeping her team? And we have that in quotes, keeping her team in place. What does that look like? It looks like a partner is in the picture, family members, if family members are in the picture, trusted friends, and we definitely hope that you have those, your healthcare providers, your faith leaders, if you're faithful, support groups like Postpartum Support International and many others. And we have a resource page for you to go to. So keeping her team in place may include all of these and anyone willing to remain present without judgment. The most important of these is understanding. Emotional adjustment is not weakness. It's a part of transition. So when she shows any sort of emotional adjustment, support is there, but we want to keep in mind that we don't want to portray to her the thought that it's weakness. It's not. It's just a part of transition.
Hi there, FOZA family. Thanks for tuning in. Did you know that the Friends of Zane Adams Educational Scholarship is open and accepting applications? If you know a student who has lost their mother due to postpartum depression-related suicide and is preparing to enter college or trade school, this scholarship was created for them. FOZA's mission is to support the children who are left behind while raising awareness about the importance of maternal mental wellness. To learn more, please review the eligibility guidelines and application today at FOZAinc.org. Together, we can honor their mothers' memories and help build brighter futures. Now, back to the podcast.
Just because she's caring for others, that doesn't mean it's no longer important that she cares for herself. If you are listening to this and you are a part of her team, please take time to realize this. Sometimes the strongest support comes from helping her to feel safe enough to say things like, "I'm still adjusting. Give me time. I'm tired. I don't fully understand what I'm feeling yet. I'm feeling some new things and I don't understand what I'm feeling." This is what you want to listen for, because healing often begins with feeling seen before feeling fixed. And a lot of times that's what we try to do. We want to fix the situation rather than just listen and see the situation, see the mother. Recognizing that uncertainty can coexist with love is the next thing we want to talk about. This is important because we don't often stop and take stock of the many women who quietly struggle with emotions that they were never expecting to feel. This is not something anyone gets trained on. It happens. Life happens. We find ourselves in situations we're struggling because we never expected to find ourselves there. It's a loving time, and it's absolutely purported to be the very best time of her life. And yet she's struggling with emotions that she never expected to feel. She may have expected to feel differently. A mother may deeply love her child and still feel overwhelmed. She may feel grateful to have brought this wonderful life into the world and still feel emotionally unsettled. She may have always been and still is a caring, attentive, and present person on the outside, while internally wondering why everything is feeling so unfamiliar. She may wonder what's going on inside. Sometimes those mixed emotions can create guilt, and guilt can lead to negatives that we don't want it to lead to. We don't want her to feel guilty. There can be pressure to believe that if love is real, confidence should come naturally. But emotional adjustment doesn't always happen instantly. If love is real, confidence will come naturally. And there's some truth to that. But when you are a mom, you're in postpartum, and you're dealing with physical, emotional, spiritual, love is real. Confidence should come naturally. But if it doesn't, you need to know there's nothing wrong with you. This is something you want to talk about. Love and uncertainty, they're not opposites. In fact, some of the deepest forms of love exist alongside concern, vulnerability, exhaustion, and emotional transition. But when vulnerabilities, exhaustion, and emotional transitions come into play, It doesn't seem inside as if love is enough. That's where the team comes in. When her team recognizes this is a transition, we need to help her transition from shame and guilt. Anything that could take place that would be negative and bring more balance into her postpartum experience, that's what we need to do. When the team, including families, partners, and support systems, understand that emotional complexity is normal, then it becomes easier for the mom to speak honestly about what she's experiencing without the fear of judgment or misunderstanding, guilt or shame. When something feels off, one of the most difficult parts of postpartum emotional wellness is that everything doesn't arrive in clear language. And of course, each individual is different. So this is just one perspective. Trust yourself. You're given natural abilities that you need to trust in, even though you don't have clear answers. You have emotional awareness that begins before understanding ever does. Tap into your own awareness and trust it. You want to give language time to form. You may not be able to say everything you're feeling, and every feeling you have does not need to be explained immediately. This is what your team is for. Just tell them, I'm not feeling right. I'm feeling off. And know that they will trust that you have your natural emotional awareness. You trust them, they will trust you. But remember to reach out for connection. Reach out for connection before you're certain about anything. Because support doesn't require having everything figured out first. Support is just that. There to support you, listen, and you should trust that they are listening. And everything is going to work out in your benefit. Last month, we talked about moving forward without all the answers. Because there are moments when a woman continues to move forward and it doesn't make any sense. But she has to move forward because she has a new human being she brought into the world, and stopping is not an option. So she has to do the things she needs to do, but she doesn't have all the answers. As we said then, that's when gentleness matters most from her team. Not pressure, not perfection, just knowing that she's confided in you and she's still working towards everything without having all the answers. But you want to present to her no pressure, no perfection, giving her space to breathe, giving her space to be heard, giving her space to move forward, knowing that she has support. Help her stop and see that she's made progress. Because sometimes progress is simply being there, being in the present. So help her stop and realize that she's doing a great job. Going to talk about progress again, because it doesn't always look visible. It involves consistency. It involves endurance. It involves staying still in moments that you feel you should move forward, and moving forward in moments that you feel you should be standing still. So how do you work with that? Gentleness. Gentleness can be more of a help than pressure, because emotional healing rarely responds to judgment. Even though we're humans and we're prone to judgment, no judgment. Okay? Support the changes that her being, her doing, her growing emotionally. Support the outcomes of those changes. Because when she's feeling seen and heard, that will reduce her feelings of isolation and bring her through the postpartum period that could have dangers lurking in them. She can bypass that. As this episode comes to an end, I want to remind everyone to continue being strong advocates for maternal mental health. If you're part of a team supporting a mother through her postpartum, we're here to support you. We're here to help answer your questions for education and to point you towards resources that offer broader assistance. If you'd like to volunteer with us, please visit our site and connect with us there. That's FOZAinc.org, FOZAinc.org. We appreciate all of you who are standing and starting conversations about maternal mental wellness. Being emotionally honest and treating the prevention of maternal suicide is a serious and unnecessary tragedy that we can help rid ourselves of. Please take this with you. Many women are navigating enormous internal changes while still showing up for everyone around them. When support is missing, the impact often reaches beyond the mother, to her children, her relationships, to her family, and yes, to the community. We encourage compassion not only for the journey of motherhood, but also for the emotional transitions that come with it. And we do this in loving memory of Christina LaShawn Thompson Adams. Until next time, bye-bye.